I'll discuss problem 1.49 Croto. It has some useful concept. It is based on a disk, massive disk, and there is a small disk. And the language is important in this question because that creates confusion. So key here is all other aspects I don't want to read. I generally avoid reading question, but here I will have to, because the point key here is the smaller disk is lowered on the first disk. Lowered. It doesn't say released. So from the question, as I interpret, is that axis of the smaller disk is held by some means it is fixed. Axis of the bigger disk is also fixed, and that is why you can't solve this problem by application of conservation of angular momentum, because otherwise you would have had it is released, the friction forces are internal forces, this omega will drop. If you want to raise the omega, you can provide torque. How much time you will provide the torque will give you the power, so that way you can solve by applying impulses and all. Had it been released, but it is fixed, so the friction force is being supported by the external disk. There is a friction happening here, disk is held fixed, and it is held fixed by some external force. So if you take this disk and this disk as a system, so if you want to take momentum about this axis, you have to take the forces which are acting which you don't know. So you can't solve it like that. That is why vector method is used here. Now to solve this problem, I assume certain things to simplify. Let me assume that there is a disk which has two protruded parts. There are two parts here in this disk. They are just coming out. And I will place this disk, if this is the O1 axis of rotation of bigger disk, and this is the distance between the two axes, which is d. This is O2. So this is the disk which I release, and say the bigger disk was this board which was rotating. I can place it. I have a special kind of disk which has two pointed, not pointed, slightly flat, so that it can support it horizontally. Anyway, I'm holding it by axis. So I place it like this, and let me show the protruded parts at the top so that I can relate where these are. I can place it like this. This is rotating, this disk is rotating, and when it is placed, this disk is not rotating. If I place it this way and place it this way, what will be the difference? Based on the discussion which I will be doing in the problem, try to do yourself. If I had a special disk which had only two pointed parts or flat parts which are just very small, which only these two parts touch the bigger disk, I can place it like this at initial moment, or I can place it like this, or I place it at any angle. What difference it makes, how the motion will change, subsequent motion will happen. Try to do yourself based on the discussion which I will do. And I won't be surprised if in future JE says that instead of disk there is a cone, and you place the smaller disk like this, and it is rotating like this. I won't be surprised if this question comes in future. Anyway, coming back to this problem, I now take a disk which has protrusions all through. Just instead of taking two, I leave it to you. You do that two yourself. Because if I do that also, I will be roasted in this heat without AC and fan. Don't have fan, unfortunately, at the moment. And anyway, no AC is here. So I will be roasted if I stretch this lecture. So I have to minimize it. So do that yourself. Let this disk have multiple points, protrusions on the periphery. Now you may see this say, how can you assume that? This is the disk, whole disk is in contact. Okay, I agree. I concede. Whole disk has points. So let me take multiple points all through. So I can take rings, multiple rings. Instead of protrusions, I take multiple rings. Concentric rings I can take on this disk, which are in contact, and those rings are in contact simultaneously, but I will solve only for one ring at a time. And let me start from the outermost ring, and remaining you don't need to do once you do that. So suppose there is a ring in the disk which is touching the bigger disk. And I only select 2 points which are on the opposite ends of two. You can select any angle, immaterial. If this is, I take this angle theta. This is line joining O1 and O2. So these are 2 points I am considering. There can be multiple all through the ring, then you take inner ring all through. Such a messy kind of situation. And if you do try to do that with integration, my God. Anyway, so I take point A and B on the bigger disk. So A and B happen to fall on the massive disk. I write by big M because it's a massive disk. And A dash and B dash are on the smaller disk. But if somebody is looking, these points are moving, all the points are in motion, but somebody is focusing, some observer is looking at the disk at only 2 locations, at this point and this point. Just like Arjun, it is focusing only at 2 locations. So these are locations which are having points, coinciding points. One falls on the bigger disk, one falls on the lower disk, one above the other. So if B is and A are on the bigger disk, B dash and A dash are on the smaller disk. And some observer is looking at it. So what kind of motion is happening? And I assume that it starts, disk is just kept and some time has elapsed and disk has started rotating. When there is no rotation, of disk, try to do yourself. Based on this discussion, first take these 2 points along this, then take perpendicular, then take this. When there is no rotation of disk, do yourself. I am doing when there is a rotation omega 2 of disk, and this anyway is maintaining omega 1 constant. I am applying external torque to balance the frictional torque which I am getting because of this disk. So some external torque is being applied. Now when this is rotating, so these points A dash and B dash are rotating about O1 and A and B are rotating about O1. So these are A and B are rotating about O1, and about O2 A dash and B dash are rotating. So that I don't mix up, it's quite likely this mess up may happen. If mess up happens while I speak in A B dash, just correct it. It is quite likely to happen when there are so many points. So 4 points, my God. Now I want to know velocity, absolute velocity of all these points. When I know the absolute velocity, means in the fixed frame somebody is watching, he will measure velocity of each of these points. Once you measure the velocity of A and A dash, B and B dash, only then you can say what is the relative velocity. I want to find relative velocity of A with respect to A dash and B with respect to B dash, means A with respect to A dash I want, and B with respect to B dash I want. These 2 velocities I want. Why do I want relative velocity? Because if I am trying to pull any object based on the friction and motion of another body, if my hand is another body, book is one body, lower hand is another body, it is suppose frictionless, though it is not. So it is trying to pull it, and my hand is moving with certain velocity. It starts moving. Initially it was stable, 0 velocity. I start moving my hand and it starts gaining velocity. So direction of friction is always given by the direction of the relative velocity of the moving part, the part which tries to move with respect to the part which is being moved. That is direction of friction force. So this will give you direction of friction force. F1, F2, whatever it will be. Because of the symmetry, I am assuming that magnitude is same at both the locations, because same amount of pressure is being exerted. If you divide the whole mass by the area and I'll calculate for each point small elements, so these small elements have same area, so equally distributed. That way you can say, I can say magnitude will be equal, which only depends on the force or the normal reaction. It doesn't depend on the value of the relative velocity. Relative velocity's direction determines the direction of the frictional force. That is what I am saying. So this is my velocity A and this is my velocity B. Very clear. VB. And that is VA. VB upon VA, if I want to know what will be the ratio, if this is A, this is B, and let this be twice C. Whole distance is twice C. C is equal to R. Instead of R, I am taking C. So what is VA? Is nothing but VA is what? B times omega 1. VB is what? A times omega 1. So ratio of VA and VB is same as the ratio of A and B. A, B and 2C, they make a triangle. So if I rotate both A and B by 90 degree, the vector VA and VB will also rotate by 90 degree. Just think over it, but triangle method. If I rotate A and B by 90 degree, vector A and B will also rotate by 90 degree. Vector A and B are joined by vector twice C. Here A and B, this is VA and VB. This is joined by twice C. So the vector which I get between VA and VB will be, if VA and VB are perpendicular to A and B, the vector joining VA and VB will be perpendicular to this 2C. Just do it. So that is one concept which we have to use here in this question. That is simple vectors. You can do it with your scale and D also. Otherwise also you must be knowing it. So anyway, so now I have got VA, and what is the value of VA dash? VA dash will be this and VB dash will be this, and magnitude of VA dash will be equal to magnitude of VB dash, which is equal to C times omega 2. So if I write this as C times omega 2, this will be minus C times omega 2 because directions are just opposite. So if I write this as alpha and this as beta, so alpha is say C omega 2, beta will be minus C omega 2, but I will prefer to use alpha and beta are the vectors. So these are the vectors which will give me now I got the velocity of the points which are overlapping. Both the velocities are absolute in respect of some observer who is looking at it. Now what will be the relative? Just join these 2 points. These 2 points you get the relative velocity. But I want relative velocity at this point, But this vector diagram will give me what? Will give me direction, but it will not give me the location. I want both. I want the location also and the direction also. So what I do? I just draw parallel line. And how I get? I get this. This is the parallel line, and in this I just put VA here, VA dash here, which is nothing but alpha. So this is VA, this is alpha, and this is what? VA with respect to A dash. Because this was A, this was A dash, so this direction gives me VA with respect to A dash. So it will be slightly less actually. To the scale I'm not doing, so it will be difficult. So this will give me the direction of the friction force, which will be acting on point A because of the greater velocity of the moving bigger disk and less velocity of this disk, and directions are also different. So this is the direction of the friction force. Same thing I do here. This is the direction of the relative velocity by I want at this point. Since I want at this point, I just transpose it like this. This was what? Beta, and this is VB. So this is what is the relative velocity I get at this point, and this is how it is going. Now you see, these are the relative velocities which are happening, and you see anomaly has come. This distance is less and this distance is more. That has happened because I should have taken less to begin with. Do it yourself. Take the lesser value of VA dash and VB dash, because after a certain point of time the whole dynamics will change. We'll come to that by the diagram. you start from less. You can't start from this much. You start that it has started rotating. I should have started with a very small value of this, very small value, and I would have got like this. I would have got like this. This way, whole thing changes. This is the direction. Here, this is the direction. Try to do yourself that direction. Just the relative velocity you have to find. Now, let me do that part also. Actually, first, what I should have done is do it without considering the motion of the disk. So, without considering the motion of the disk, if I do, let me do that also so that you are not confused. I was just trying to jump and save time. Now, without the motion of the disk, you will get the first hint of the rotation, how it will start. Now, this is VA. That is a fixed point, a point on the bigger disk, and this is VB. You see, this is the direction of that force, and this is the direction of the force which is acting here. See the normal distance, more and less. So torque here is more as compared to the opposing torque here, so it starts rotating. When it starts rotating, you get this velocity here. When you get this velocity here, as you start getting velocity, this starts rotating. This thing which was passing through this, and here it is passing through this, starts rotating. And this also starts rotating. Eventually, the distances keep on changing. I'll come and explain, prove it by using vectors, that it will keep on changing unless you get equal torque from both the sides. Here this is more, so you will get some velocity. You will get some velocity, its direction will change. Direction will change means this distance will reduce. As it gets tilted in this direction and it gets tilted in this direction. So its direction keeps on, its distance keeps on increasing, its distance keeps on decreasing. So ultimately you will get a situation where the distance of both the forces because of the friction becomes same, and it starts rotating and it stabilizes at that point of time. Now what is that value? Now to get that value, let me draw this diagram again, and let me draw parallel. I draw VA parallel to VA here. So this is the value of VA. This is VA. And I draw VB parallel to this line. So this is how VB will come. Interestingly, the line joining VA and VB will always be normal to this. Line joining A and B. This was 2C. Try to do it yourself. Just take a triangle and just think over it. Because of the proportion, this VA was equal to, this was actually VA is equal to B times omega, and VB is equal to A times omega. Actually I should have taken A point here and B point there. Anyway, doesn't matter. Just increased my own. I have to concentrate more now. So because these are in that same proportion. So in any triangle, if you look at a triangle, this is A, this is B, and this is twice C. I can write them as a vector also. This is side A, twice C, side twice B. If I write, take into consideration angle and all, vector A plus twice C vector is equal to vector B. I can multiply by omega. So this is nothing but the vector form multiplied by omega. So what I am getting, velocity is multiplied by omega and rotated. If I rotate the whole triangle by 90 degree, each thing will rotate by the same. This is a fixed triangle. I just rotate the whole triangle by 90 degree because my velocities are normal to this. That is why I am saying I rotate the whole triangle by 90 degree. So the 2C which you will get, which will join B and A, will also rotate by 90 degrees. So that is why this will be perpendicular to this. Why? Because now my new triangle is just proportionate. It has changed. So instead of this whole was A, now it is A omega. Whole was B, now it is B omega. That is what it has happened. So the line joining will be perpendicular to this. And interestingly, what is the perpendicular line shows? Perpendicular line shows the direction of the relative velocity of the points on the smaller disk with respect to the bigger disk. Oh, sorry, with respect to O2. So it will rotate like this. I am just drawing bigger. It will rotate like this. So its velocity and this velocity will be same in magnitude, perpendicular to this line, but opposite in direction. So with VA I have to join this here, and with VB I have to join like this. This is that value. I just place it here. Same vector, I place it here without changing direction. If this is alpha and this is beta. So with VB, if I join, this is what is beta. And it is at certain point of time. This is alpha. With A, I reach this as alpha. Alpha, beta are just same magnitude vectors, but directions are opposite. Alpha is c omega 2, beta is minus c omega 2. So you can see directions are just opposite. And this you see from the vector is the relative velocity which we are getting at the 2 points. If this is E and this is F, you see the direction of E and F. If they merge at that point of time, you will get nil torque, and at that point of time it stops. Now one vector equation we have got like this. Now how it will merge? Let this, if it increases, this also increases. See how if it is merging, so it is moving. Both are moving towards common point. Both keep on moving and both reach at a point where now this is alpha and this whole is beta. So it keeps on increasing its angular velocity, and I have achieved an angular velocity which is such that I get this vector E and F which have merged. That's the relative velocity, same direction I have got, and they are at the same, means symmetry is there, magnitude is same. So net torque, if something has same direction here and something has same direction here, they will give net torque 0. If at any circular body I am taking, there are 2 points here and here. If I get the relative velocity direction same, if this is the direction and this also has the same direction, so the perpendicular distance will be equal, and the magnitude anyway is both equal at both the places. This only gives me direction of the force, friction force. So the torque gets nullified when the direction of both the vectors, resultant vectors, relative velocity vectors, which were here initially, it was here, they merged at this. Somehow, suppose it is coming like this, you get 0 net torque. Now let me write as vector form. I think you can do on your own also. This was VB, I hope, and VB was equal to A times omega. So if I write this as vector E, so vector E plus vector alpha is equal to B omega, vector VA which is B omega, and this is vector E plus alpha, here vector E plus beta, vector E plus vector beta is equal to A omega 1. This is omega 1. Now what is of value of alpha is C omega 2, C omega 2, and here it is minus C. These are all vectors now, that is sign has come. And now I subtract both the equation, so I get twice C omega 2 equal to B omega 1, I hope it is correct, minus A omega 1. So if I see this equation, I want to get A, let me bring A this side, A omega 1 vector plus twice C omega 2 vector, A vector twice C vector times omega 2 is equal to B vector times omega 1. I got this equation, and this was initial equation, and omega 1 anyway, I multiplied by anything, it was omega 1, the bigger disk is rotating by omega 1. Initially I wrote simple for this triangle, the vectors was A plus twice C vectors is equal to vector B. I just multiplied by scalar omega 1 in terms of scalar, although angular this is vector quantity, but here I am using only its magnitude part. I am using the scalar part of that, magnitude of the angular velocity I have applied. I have not done the cross product here. So If you could do comparison, this gives you omega 1 into twice c is equal to twice c omega 2. So omega 2 is equal to omega 1. That is why answer is that they both will be rotating with the same velocity. Now part 2 you can easily do yourself. What is happening in case of part 2? The forces which are acting here are acting because of the mass of the disk, and the friction force is mu mg. So this friction force is providing a torque on this disk which is opposing the motion. So mu mgd is the constant torque which I should apply to ensure that the couple which I should apply here, the torque which I should apply along with omega 1 to ensure that it doesn't lose its angular velocity.